Welcome back to Story Deep Dive with Rachel and Dana. This is a podcast where two book coaches, editors, and besties discuss books not as readers, but as writers to draw inspiration from great books and have lots of laughs. I'm going to tell you all right now, I'm cramming it up extra because I know Dana is sitting across from me and she is tired and I could see it in her face. God. And so I was like, I got to do something to shake it up. And just get I'm trying to get a reaction. And so you got the besters. So you got a little of you got the extra zhuzh on the intro. Cause I was just trying to lighten the mood.
She could have kept that zhuzh. Tell her she could have kept that
zhuzh to yourself, ma'am.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
So
good. Yeah, it's been a long day, but it's like that all the time.
Oh yeah, podcasting days are always like that.
But it's worth it.
It really is. Well, and then it's fun because the way that we record these, this is the overview. So this is the first episode that you're getting and the last episode that we're recording, which also means that the first episode that you're getting is the one we're the most tired, which usually also means that that's when we're the silliest. Which is just a really interesting, but I like that because I like introducing the topic and we're maximum silly. And it's we'll be serious in next week's episode, but today we are silly. So anyway, so we are kicking off our discussion for the month of May with Tempt Me at Twilight by Lisa Kleypas. We've got lots and lots of good stuff to share with you and to talk about today and for the next 3 weeks. But first, most importantly, and as always, I'm checking in over with Dana over at Danger Tales. Dana, tell us what's new.
Well, I don't know about what's new. We said we was going to chit chat at the time of this recording because we're doing this super far in advance.
Yeah.
This is our birthday weeks.
Yes, we actually, we sort of share because our birthdays are very close to each other. And so your birthday week and my birthday week, they live sort of right next to each other.
Mm-hmm. But technically it's the same week, right?
I think it's
it's right out of it.
Something.
Yeah,
it's exactly 9 days. Okay, which is a shame because it'd be perfect if they were in the same week. That would just be so yummy. But
so wait, what is your sign? I don't know signs, but I mean,
I don't know signs either, but I know my sign because someone told me once. And I am an Aries, which feels like it doesn't really. Okay, see, that feels like it makes sense to me for you. I feel like that doesn't seem to suit.
I don't know what it means.
Me. So they say that Aries is very bold and has strong.
Maybe you're on the cusp.
Presence.
Are you on the cusp?
Oh, please, that's more details than I have.
Sometimes people are swing people, they're right on the edge, so you could be. I don't know.
For people who are really into horoscopes, it's also you've got a something rising or a something. I don't know. Listen, I just work here. We need to stop because we just I was just born in a month. That's all I got. That's all. I can't help you otherwise.
Oh my gosh! That I was just born in a month. Wait. So it's kind of reminds me because we went to dinner. We started. Y'all, first of all, I celebrate my birthday for a whole week, sometimes a week plus. I do it across the month. But I'm talking about a week where I just show out, okay?
So good.
Where everybody is a part of the shenanigans of making sure I have a great birthday.
Yes.
So we started last night. We went to dinner as a family and we had a great time. But it's so funny that, speaking of birthdays, because, we have a Power Week in January.
Yes.
And now our son's fiance, her birthday is in the week as well.
In Power Week?
Yes.
Oh my
So she starts it off. And it goes 12, 13, 14, 15, 16.
Holy cow, boy, that is Power Week. That is no joke, Power Week.
No,
good heavens.
It's all of them. All of them. It's just except for me and Kara. So with that said. So yeah, it's birthday week. And I want you to start us off because that means you've already celebrated your birthday this past week.
Yes.
So how are you feeling? What did you do? Did you enjoy yourself?
Yes. So this is I'm still learning the art of taking time off. This is a thing that I always think that I'm about to do it. And then it just, for whatever reason, it doesn't happen. There's always something. So I turned 33, which is kind of a fun number to turn, but
And
also
she's
I'm
gonna
like,
tell the age. Go ahead.
I
We're
know,
listening.
I listen.
I
That's
don't care
just
about it either. It's just
I'm
the
the number
number.
that I have.
Yeah.
But the one thing I won't accept is that I'm too old to dress like a goth kid. So what ended up happening was like it was my birthday fell on the week that we were doing the writing sprints for the end of the first draft. So like I was running sprints all that week and then still doing like normal, right? So it's like it was supposed to be like I'm going to celebrate my birthday, except everything was happening and it was like a normal work week and I was very busy. Which again, this is why I'm like, I have some learning to do, and I want to be more like Dana when I grow up because I'm doing it wrong. I know I'm doing it wrong. I'm positive this is not
Look
the way
like
to do it.
we getting it popping over here.
You were already like, we are already party central. Get out of town. And I was like, wait, I haven't slept and I'm working and I'm tired. Like,
like your birthday is going to give you a nap. You want to take a nap,
right? And so I was doing sprints all that week as everyone was wrapping up their first drafts, and then I hosted 2 days of like special events on Twitch to celebrate my birthday. Now that was actually like, even though it was like a lot to coordinate, it was super fun because I basically brought in like several of my like streamer friends and we just played group games, right? Like we played co-op games and it was loud and it was chaotic and it was fun. I had a great time, and
I need to watch the replay.
catch a little bit of the black lipstick action. And then we took a day and like went out to like bookstores, which is like very much like that's very
Yes.
This is exactly, this is always like baked in as a part of the birthday experience. It's sort of like, oh, this is my excuse to buy like whatever book I've been thinking about buying. Like this is the time. So we went across the bay. There was this like big used bookstore there, and then there's also the nicest Barnes and Noble I have ever been to is across the bay. It is like super huge. They have an amazing selection. I've been reading this book from Courtney Mom. It's called Before and After the Book Deal. And it's just a really great inside look at just all of the steps inside of publishing that I've been reading to mostly I wanted to make sure that this was going to be like a great recommendation for my clients so that like they have a great resource that they can go to. And the answer is yes, it's a great resource. I'm having a great time reading it. So I got physical copies of that. And I also picked up Young Se Chu's The Ghost Bride. It's her debut novel. So I talked earlier this year about The Foxwife, which I loved. It's such a good book. And so when I saw that they had the rest of her catalog at the bookstore, I really wanted to check out in particular her debut novel. And it's similar to The Foxwife in that it's like a little bit murder mystery, a little bit magic, a little bit folklore, which is like all of my favorite things inside of a single book. And so I got a copy of that. And every night or every other night, depending on, our schedule and what we're doing, we're watching these old movies that have these like great strong leading ladies, and so that's like that. One of the things that we're doing to sort of like extend out the birthday celebration. And this is in keeping with my personal goal for 33. This is how you guys are going to know that I'm a tragic character, and not someone to be emulated most of the time. My goal for 33 is to like have fun. Like, it's like, okay, I need to learn how to have fun in my life because I work all the time. I think about work, I stress about work, and when I'm trying not to think about work, I'm stressing about work. And it also like, it's a real, like, if I just want to bring this around to be relevant somehow to our writers who are listening, let me tell you, it puts a real damper on my creativity, okay? Because when all that stress is following me around all the time, so that even when I show up to writing, which I love doing, I'm still working on my novella, like I'm making progress, but there's always this like secret, like in the back of my mind, like pressure, right? Of like, oh, we got to make sure we make progress. We got to make sure we get stuff done. And it's like, there's like just stress that follows me around. And I exhaust myself through the week. And even when I show up to write, there's like sort of that like creepy stress in the back of my mind that's just always there. It's not good for you, ladies and gentlemen. It's not good for you. And it's not good for your creativity. And I know that it's like slowing down my creative process because when you're carrying that much stress all the time, it's not good for your physical health, it's not good for your mental health, and neither of those things are good for your creativity. And I know that that happens to me. So my goal as for the year being 33 is like, I need to learn how to have fun. Like I need to learn how to lighten up and have more fun. And this is my goal as a human being for 33.
Okay.
So this is what the whole birthday experience is.
Well, first of all, I love that he has movies to try to give you some inspiration. What is the plan, ma'am? Because you saying you're gonna have more fun, you got to carve out time to have fun.
Yes,
You got to. What you gonna do?
I don't know. Here's the thing. Here's the problem. Okay, so like I know, right? And I'm starting to like, okay, how do I build in my rest times, right? Like how do I
Yeah.
build rest into my schedule? So like kind of like step one, like baby step is like, how about we build time when we rest? How about we start there? We'll get to having fun once we've like stopped cramming crap in our schedule. Let's start there.
Well, I mean, you don't have to go out to have fun, but if you think going out is fun, then you have to go out to have fun.
Yes. And I think so much of that, right? Like it comes down to like the way that you relate to life, right?
Yeah.
Is the fact that for me, I am fundamentally as a person stressed out. Like, right, I'm obsessed with my performance. I'm obsessed with, you know, making sure that I don't fall behind and making everything work. And so at the core of it, it's really less about I need to do more fun things. And it's like I need to relate to my life in a way that everything doesn't feel so high stakes all the time, right? Because everything kind of always feels life or death, even though it's not. Like it's books, y'all. It's okay. It's like it's gonna be all right. But that, like again, it's that internal pressure that shapes the way that I relate to my life. And I know that that's something that's like, ooh, no wonder I'm stressed all the time because everything feels like the stakes are way up here when they're maybe not even down here, right? Like maybe there aren't actually stakes at all in the first place. And so it's really more, I think, about the way that I engage my life as a person.
I'm gonna be checking in on you because, girl, you act this way too serious.
I'm gonna tell you, being inside my brain, it's a hellscape in there, and I don't recommend it. I wouldn't. Okay. I wouldn't choose it.
You gotta choose this. It's yours.
I know. That's why we're trying to clean it up in there, man. We're trying to get this thing together.
Oh Lord, I need to give a Trevor because, girl, we can't be letting you run things over there.
No, you really shouldn't. I'm not allowed to be in charge of my own life. This is not good. So before we talk any more about what a disintegrated individual I am, how about you tell me about what's going on with your birthday and what you got on deck?
Girl,
I don't
know what you doing over there. We doing all the things, okay? Because I'm having fun. I don't know about her. Yeah, listen, we gonna get her together.
That's why I'm always like, I want to be like Dana when I grow up because she's having a good time over there, and I don't know how she does it because I'm stressed the F out all the time.
Because, girl, that don't get you nowhere. That'll get you nowhere fast. So we started. Well, my birthday is April 4th. So it's coming up at the time it's recording, and I have less than a week. And we started with our family going out, just the immediate family going out to dinner last night, and that sort of was the kickoff. But we had our bonus grandbaby. He came over last week, and girl, aww, but we went to go get ice cream and everything. But we in the middle of the day, we was like, come on, let's go get ice cream real quick.
Oh, I love that.
And it was so good. And so, but we're not doing like the full, so starting not tomorrow. Tomorrow I gotta work. So I'm working today, working tomorrow. And then I'll be going out with my son. He's taking me out to kick it off. He's taking me to breakfast. And then when we come back, I got the whole, like, I'm going to go from Wednesday to Sunday doing a retreat.
So good.
Listen, I've been having packages on the doorstep all week.
Oh my gosh, your favorite thing.
You know it. Girl, open boxes everywhere. And then my one son, he gave me his gift when we went to dinner, and I was like, why is this bag so heavy? He was like, well, the main thing's on top. And I was like, oh, okay, it's a gift card, because he knew I wanted art supplies. And I was like, well, then why is the bag so heavy if it's still stuff in there? Girl, he gave me Dr. Pepper's, hot tamales, Twizzlers.
Yes.
And then Listen, y'all, if y'all don't know, we don't eat a lot of junk food. We don't buy it because if it's in the house, we're going to eat it. But when it's for like stuff like this, listen, Kara went and got me waxy cakes today. She went and got my
Yes.
ruffles.
That was my first question. I was like, are there zebra cakes? Where are those
Girl,
waxy cakes at? Do you have them?
She got me the big box. She got me too many, but whatever. I'm gonna do
Got
right
you
by
that
them.
Costco size.
Girl, I was like, for real, like they're huge. But you know what? It's a birthday gift. What I'm gonna do? I'm gonna eat them. So, so yeah, like we're just gonna. I mean, I have this project. Well, I mean, I'm gonna be working on my project, and I have books I'm gonna read, and I got a huge like butterfly quilt for my birthday last year, and I've been working on a little bit, but it's like one of those kind of quilts where you really can't pick it up, put it down with ease.
Mm-hmm.
So I really just wanted to just carve out like 3 to 4 days and aim to like finish it. So I have my books set up. I'm gonna set up. Kim got me set up so I can watch movies. And girl, when I do that,
so good.
and they take care of all of my meals, so I can just eat, and he'll just go get my stuff. Oh, listen.
Oh
and
my gosh, you are set. Oh my God. That is like when you say retreat, you mean retreat.
Okay, listen. And so what else? And then Saturday is my actual birthday. And I just so happened to go onto TikTok, and it's a place literally minutes from like where we live, that it's a warehouse where they have like $30 and you get a bag of books. You could fill it with as many books as you can put in there. So I told myself, I'm like, I want a bag, and I want a bag for you, for me.
Yes. You're getting a bag, but just know that what goes in that bag is also for me.
Girl, I don't even know what's going to be there. I'm going to be just putting stuff in there. It may turn into art books. It may turn into art journals. It may be books I want to read. I don't even know. And so we're going to get up early. We're going to go get coffee. We're going to go get books. Then we're going to come back and drop off our loot. And then we're going to go to all my favorite places I like to go to on my birthday. Girl, it's going to be, you need to just come here because you don't know. But listen.
I think that's what next time, maybe next birthday is like, all right, Dana, I'm going to be adopted by Dana, and she's going to show me how to do it.
Listen.
She's going to teach me how to do the birthday.
And I don't even be doing nothing. I mean, I do stuff, but I don't want to do nothing. I mean, I don't want to do too much.
You're not like booking a hotel. Like you're literally just like actually taking time off to do things that you like doing, right? Like it's literally like spending time with your family, getting your favorite foods, and then like quilting. And like all of that is like, you're not even leaving Houston. It's just like embracing like what you have, like where you are, and taking the time to do it. And that is like,
you can do it. But here's the thing that you're doing now is the first steps to that. Because my thing is like, even the kids were talking about it. It's so funny when we were at dinner, and they were just like, we remember like how you always have all the stuff for our birthdays, even though we had so many birthdays back to back. Everybody had their own stuff. Everybody had their own cake. Because I used to share my birthday with people, and I hated it as a kid. Yeah. So we used to have all the cake, all the stuff. Everybody had their own stuff, and it just I just love birthdays because it is your day. It is your day, and so and listen, they know it. I'm like, listen, but do I need to make a list? Do y'all need to know what to get?
Yeah.
And then since the kids have grown and moved out, and I have my own space, and I used to go to do stuff. Kima we would go to a resort or a retreat place or something like that. But now that I don't have to, I can just go right across the hall.
Yeah. Just don't even have to open the office door, and that thing can stay closed.
Listen, like, I don't even gotta keep the door. I just go. I don't need, because listen, ain't nobody gonna go in there but Boogie kicking him out. He the only one that's trying to bother me. So just going and just learning how to just celebrate yourself, and then I get myself good gifts, so that's good stuff. So and then like I'm on this like new journey. Like this year I will be 48, and then I'm like I have 2 years until I'm 50. And I just want to take advantage of those times, girl. I want to go into 50 like actually here.
Oh, so it's gonna be like, ma'am. I have arrived 50. You're lucky to have me. Okay,
come on.
But that's so crazy to me because, like, honestly, in my mind, first of all, you don't even look like you could conceivably be approaching 50. Like that feels completely impossible. And number
Girl, I
two,
am.
I always like again in my mind, like I know that you're older than me because you have life experience that I do not have. That's the only, but otherwise, like in my heart, I'm like, Dana always seems younger than me in her
Girl,
heart.
well, that's
It's
because you're
like,
an old lady, Rachel. That doesn't count. listen,
this
listen.
is,
You are like almost the age of. Listen, you are old lady at heart. People
it's
say
true.
old soul. You are old lady all the way around.
It's
Okay,
true. And
but
Trevor's
it's
my
all
old
good.
man because
Yeah,
he
y'all both are.
also, when
Y'all
we
can have it.
briefly, when we met, he was like one of the things he was known for was like wearing grandpa sweaters and bow ties. Like that was like he would sit in a rocking chair
I
with
love
a
rocking chairs,
pipe
though.
and read a book.
Come on,
Like this was like the man that I met. He was 20 years old.
Grandpa at 20.
I was like, and you know, the moment I was like, oh my God.
Girl, you done found your grandpa. I'm done. She goes, oh, yeah. No, ma'am.
But he also, right, it's perfect because he has a nose ring, he has a lip ring, he's got gauges. So it's like
Yes.
he's like the edgiest grandpa you've ever seen.
And both of y'all, hard metal and old at the same time. Okay.
Oh man. But anyway, it's crazy to me that you could even again conceivably be approaching 50. Nothing about you has ever like you seem so, to me you are like eternally youthful. And
Mm.
so the thought of like, and it's just like again, it's like it's your brightness, it's your lightness, it's the way that you just like take life so in stride that it never seems like you could ever, doesn't seem like you could ever be 50.
Girl, listen, I'm gonna accept it. I'm going into it. I'm gonna be 50 in February. Listen, I got 2 more years because I got some more stuff to do.
Yes,
So,
ma'am.
so part of it is I want, well, big goals. I'll say that, and then I know we got to move. I want to start training again. So I'm going to be start training for my half marathons
Oh,
again. So that's
awesome.
what we've been starting towards. And so, because
Yeah,
I'm like, by the time I get there, I want to be like where I really want to be. So I'm giving myself 2 years to just kind
it's
of.
great.
So, which we've been already doing. I mean, and
Yeah,
just taking care of yourself so that you just have activity, and then really just a fullness of life. Like
yeah,
having a life that my goal is always to optimize for joy and to live a life that I love living.
yeah,
Like right now, today, not someday. And
yeah,
so it's the end of the day, all of that is every day is a choice.
yeah.
Every day is a choice. So, girl, but listen, it's gonna be well for the next 7 days. It's gonna be junk food, and
Yes,
I'm gonna have all the
ma'am.
stuff. I'm gonna have all this stuff, and I'm so thankful that my family obliges me because I'm gonna have a good
Keep
old
your
time.
white lady kale somewhere else.
Girl, ain't no kale coming over here. Not this week. Now next week I'm gonna have to probably make up and have all the girl for me nibbling on kale for the rest of the month for all the sugar I might have. So yeah, but I mean, I would say, to anyone that's celebrating a birthday, happy birthday to you as well. But I think it's very special. I don't mind sharing my age. I feel like it's a blessing. And
Yeah,
so it's like, live life to the fullest. Now, I don't do all of the things like, because I love being at home. So, like I love being at home. I don't got to go nowhere.
yeah,
But it's like, do you love it? Like, do you?
yeah.
So I have my arts and my knitting and my quilting and I just get to enjoy myself. So, girl, I'm gonna go get all the books I can put my little hands on. I'm be going to start BZ's early in the morning as soon as they open. Look, I'm gonna be doing all the stuff, girl. I'm gonna be having all kind of sugar rushes because I'm going to go get nut and bunk cakes. Like I'm gonna get
And that
all
was gonna
the
be my
stuff.
question is like, because I know one of your like you were like, we're gonna go to all my favorite places that I like to go on my birthday, and I was like, is
Yes,
nothing bun cakes on the
it
list?
is always. I gotta go get my
Always.
little cake, a little bunk cake, as if I'm not gonna have enough junk food here, but it's just for one day.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go, and then we're supposed to go eat because we have some like a place that I really like because they have turkey burgers since I don't eat beef, and
Mm-hmm.
I've been wanting
Yeah.
a burger. So we just go and just like honestly we go so long that by the time we come back, we are so sleep. We're ready to go to sleep.
I bet.
So I'm just gonna have a great time. And then other than that, quilting and everything. And then
Yeah.
just doing light stuff for work. So pretty much off.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna have to check, you know, just make sure
Yeah.
everything's okay. But yeah, I'm gonna be doing a daggone thing. I'm a party for
Yay!
me and you. I mean, you know, it's
Yes.
technically not a party. It's just
It's a
grown
party
woman
by
vibe.
your standards.
Yes, it's a grown woman vibe. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
right. Yeah. I'm just, you know what? Yeah, you party enough for the both of us. I'll catch up. Just you wait. Man, 34 is going to roll around. You're
You
not going
know,
to recognize me.
I'm gonna hold you to that. Listen,
Oh, man, you guys know. Okay, so we're going to be podcasting in a year.
come on.
My birthday's going to be coming up, and she's going to hit me with a. In February, she's gonna hit me with the. So, what are you planning for your birthday? You
Come on.
you got that plan locked down? You got your time blocked off? What you got going on? And then I'm gonna be held accountable for the things that I said this year. So
To have a real break.
I can do
Oh
it.
my goodness. You
I can do this.
can. You totally can do it. If you don't, I'm gonna do it for the both of us.
That's right. Yes,
I'm gonna
ma'am.
tell you about it when I'm out doing it.
And then if you keep making me jealous enough, maybe eventually I get my butt up and I do it right.
Girl, then I'm gonna be, because we're gonna be off to something else. Then you're gonna be like, dang. I'm gonna be like, girl, watch me.
I just want to
Watch
catch
me.
up.
Ah.
All right. So, thank you everyone for joining us for a little bit of just casual birthday chat. And I hope that this inspires whoever's listening to do something nice for your birthday and to celebrate yourself and to embrace life and live it to the fullest and live
Holy.
it well. And celebrate that getting older, like you said, is a privilege, and that we
Mhm.
have the opportunity to be alive another year. So let's go ahead and dive into our overview of Tempt Me at Twilight by Lisa Kleypas. But before we do that, would you catch the people up with a summary, Dana?
I sure will. Tempt Me at Twilight follows Poppy Hathaway, a young woman who longs for a quiet, respectable life and believes she found it with the perfect, well mannered suitor. But everything changes when Harry Rutledge, a powerful and unconventional hotel owner, becomes determined to have her for himself. After a scandal forces Poppy into an unexpected marriage, she finds her carefully planned future turned upside down. As she adjusts to life with a man who is as captivating as he is dangerous, Poppy must decide whether to hold on to the life she thought she wanted or risk everything for a love she never saw coming.
Perfect. Perfect. Okay. So for today's discussion, what are some of the overarching topics that you want to hit? And then I'll kick us off with one of the questions I have for our discussion as well. But hit me with those big topics.
I think we sort of cover everything really well in the other episodes. The kind of what rises to the top is the fact that this is an interconnected series. And so we see some really great demonstrations of that. We're going to talk a little bit about the fact that this is a historical, like a Victorian romance. So we'll talk about that a little bit. And also, this story, and I didn't have this on my notes, but I guess the one that I did want to talk about, which is this story has a lot of very modern tropes that is done in a way that shows how tropes really are just, it holds it all together. Like you have some really great ones that we see a lot, but she did a great job of sort of just doing it and still making it very relevant to this time, and to this era. And then the final thing that I have is that this is one of my favorite, I say this in every episode. This is one of my favorite romances, y'all, for real. And so, one of the reasons why I love this book is because of the morally ambiguous main male character. Harry, to me, is sort of like a prototype for looking at your bad boy billionaire that is
Yeah.
sort of making his own rules and making his own way. And that is one of the reasons why I really like this story. I read it a lot. I read it almost every single year, and I've done it since the book came out. So close to 15 years. And so this is another one of my books that is on repeat. And that is one of the reasons why. What about you,
So
Rachel?
good. Yeah, so one of the things I want to talk about in sort of connection to the fact that this is part of like an interconnected series, is just Talking a little bit about the angle that Lisa Kleypas brought to this book. So I watched an interview with her where she talked about, the things she likes to explore. And I think that, so she really likes to explore outsiders and what it is to be an outsider in this time period. And I think you see that so much in this story. And I think kind of having it in the back of your mind as you're reading, or if you go back and read it again, like it kind of just adds that, like, oh wow, like she really like is digging deep into something here. So I'd love to talk a little bit about, sort of this family of outsiders that she has, that is the framework that she uses for this interconnected series as we follow these different family members. And then the big thing that I want to start with is asking you, just like you said, about historical romance. Because so we've done one other historical romance before, and I'll just go ahead and launch right into the question. And we did that with Indigo, and so we've got something a little bit different here with something more like a Regency or maybe a Victorian. I'm not 100% sure which era we're in, but what? So for someone who would like to write historical romance, what are some things that they should keep in mind if this is the like the subgenre or the niche that they're interested in writing in?
Well, I'm gonna first of all say make sure that you're reading your niche because I'm not the part like I'm not the historical romance guru. I'm the person that when it's time and I'm working with someone that's doing it, I know how to read and get myself caught up so that I do what I need to do. But there are some things that are consistent, right, when it comes to historical romances. So I would say number one, be very aware of the time. I believe this is Victorian.
Okay.
I didn't look it up, but I believe it's Victorian. But you want to know that. I don't need to
Yeah.
know it. I'm not writing it, right? I'm just reading it. I just want to see Harry show
Yeah.
out, you know? But you want to, you need to know and understand what the differences are and why readers pick one over the other,
Hmm.
right? The historical that we had before was totally different, being that it was in the US. And so
Yeah.
there's so many different things. And what comes with selecting that time, like the culture, the
Hmm.
syntax. Um, One of the things that was a huge thing that you notice is the treatment of intimacy.
Hmm.
Even in the way it was like worded and sort of very wordy and
Yeah,
not
and like
as
on the
graphic.
page,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, it's
it's
still
like
on the page. Yeah.
very specific turn of phrase and a way of speaking about it that doesn't feel over modern.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I think the other part of when it comes to culture, which was a big part of this, is just like everything from courting and especially because it's a romance. I mean, that's the
Mhm.
foundation of the story. And what's at question around that. Because the reality is if you're picking it for this time, it should connect with the genre that you're selecting, right?
Yeah.
That's where you get the most use of making that decision. And so how the time in that period intersects with them finding their happily ever after.
Hmm.
And so those are the big things I would think about: the time, the culture, the syntax, the treatment of intimacy, and understanding everything with culture, clothing,
Yeah.
um norms, all of that.
Yeah.
And this is why normally you'll find nowadays you're starting to see some people that are doing both contemporary and historical. That wasn't
Mhm.
as common before, but now it is a little more common. But this is why you'll normally see writers that when they pick this time or this era, they stick to it. So they
Yeah.
really can, the things that they learn in the research that they use, being able to continue to use that and sort of use it as their landscape for their stories.
Yeah, yeah. So really it's, which, and this is going to be true for any type of historical fiction. If you are going to do something historical, like so much of this comes down to do your research, right? It's like making sure. And so you're even looking for, because I think about, when you talk about clothing, so making sure that you're describing the right kind of era specific clothing, and giving it the proper names, because usually, and we talked about this a little bit off, like off recording, people who read historical romance, like that's one of the things that they're looking for,
That's why they
and those
pick
are
it.
things, like those are details that they care about. And so it's it matters, right? Because this is a part of like sort of like your subgenre expectations that like your historical romance readers like they care about those details, they care about them being right, and they care about them being handled well, and so really making sure that you're in the right era and you're using the right like that you're using your research properly and making sure that you've covered those details, and also like just like you talked about the syntax, making sure that the voice of the narration, and that's going to go like double triple if you're in first person, right? Because then if you're narrating in first person, then you have to filter your narration through the lens of a person in this era, and so making sure that that's not over modern and that it doesn't feel like um like discontinuous with the era that we're in. So we get modern turn to phrase in a historical setting because that's going to sort of break the effect of the story and feel sort of disruptive. So that's I'm dealing with this with my historical fiction, like my current historical fiction client, where it's like, oh, like you can't like. He caught out that he was like, oh, I said that this person likes to be in the spotlight, but there are no spotlights in this time. Like, you got to like pull that stuff out. So it's like, I mean, it's that like minute though, right? Because we have a way of thinking that is very, very modern because that's the era that we're in. And so a lot of times we'll pull a turn of phrase without thinking because it's so natural to us, and you kind of got to look out for those things. And so that's one of the phases that we're in. Fortunately, he has beta readers who are history buffs, who are like his history like resources. And so I do like if you can find, beta readers, people who especially like are knowledgeable in this era, those are like I'd be turning to those beta readers to make sure that you've got your continuity, timeline wise, your logic, your turn of phrase, to make sure that all that stuff is nice and tight. And that's what we've got going on in our historical fiction right now. It's like, okay, we got to make sure that like we don't have anything that's like we don't have any spotlights or anything out of place going on there. So it's just something you want to be aware of because it's pervasive from all aspects of the story down to your line writing. So it's something to be aware of. So talk to me about this as this sort of overarching interconnected series. Let's go ahead and dive right into sort of the setup of the series as a whole.
Well, I don't know what you mean by setup, but well, the story that we're reading right now is, I believe it's book 3. It's either a 4 or 5 book series, but the part that really hits the story is that we find that the family members, the characters that the protagonists that were in book 1 and book 2, are a part of this experience. We talk about it in all the episodes, but specifically in the characters episode because she does use multiple points of view, so we do get that. But here, that makes it really shine is the fact that they are a part of this whole romance and courting, if you will, experience. And we're also getting the benefit of seeing how they're doing. And that's one of the things that I love about it. And so it makes for a great sort of well-rounded reading experience if you've read the other books, but it also doesn't sort of take away from it if you haven't, because you get to meet them and find out about the dynamics of the family in the books before, and then sort of like a hook for the potential books that come after this book.
Yeah, and I'll say so. It's kind of nice because like you've read all of the books in the series, and I came into this one of like this is the one that was on the list for the podcast, and so I read it, and I came into the middle of the series. And this is how I know that she did it well because you got the joy of experiencing the whole series. I came in to the middle of the series and I was like, wait, who are these people? Wait, like, whoa, hold on. Wait, there's a book that features this character? I have questions. I would like more, please. And that's how you know she really, really pulled it off, right? It's like when we meet these characters and they're a part of the story, but they're not the main event, and it's making someone who just came in want to go back and read the other ones and find out like, well, I want to know what their story was like because they seem awesome, right? And so yeah, she does a really, really nice job of like because they're very involved in the story. Sometimes you get like I kind of feel like in the Knock 'em Out books, for example, we do still have like those points of contact, but it's not I don't think it's nearly as involved in the right. So if like in books 2 and 3, we see a little bit of Lena and Naomi, or Naomi and Sloane. We see them some, but they don't have the same level of intimate involvement as the family does in this series. And I think that the very active involvement of the family is a great addition. Like it makes the story, I think, better.
Yeah, but I think that's also part of the time because
Mm,
of the way you, as women, you're not moving around on your own. You have to
yeah.
have chaperone, and even having a chaperone, they still would have had a male, like the head of household, that is going
Hmm.
to accompany them. So you have that aspect, which is where Kim came in, and
Yeah.
then Leo, which is who is their brother because they are, I think it's four sisters and one brother.
Hmm.
Um, he is in London, like living and going sort of back and forth because
Hmm.
he's sort of doing his bachelor thing. So yes, so I think that's what brings it in. And then the fact that it's
Yeah.
centered around the sisters, you have them being involved, but that they only get to do so much because of the cultural limits.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense. And so that's actually a part of our like the historical romance, is the fact that the family really is a much more has a much more central role in
Mhm.
the life of any one of the protagonists, because that's part of our historical context. um I do want to just so I watched an interview with Lisa, and she talked about this thing that the thing that really she loves to explore in so she said that she does Georgian, Regency, and Victorian, I believe, are the like right these three sort of very close by. So like you said, right, people will often stay in historical romance because they've got all of this research, and now they can kind of like bring it to bear in series after series. So she kind of stays in this. And one of the things that she really likes to explore is what it means to be an outsider in this time. And I found that like that brought just like a new that kind of put the story in a new light for me. And I loved experiencing the story, recognizing that, because all of a sudden it was like, oh, like clearly, like you already know, right? It's already very clear that like the Hathaways are an unusual family. And this is part of why Poppy's like, I'm just trying to be normal, man, because my family always has something weird going on, and I'm
Something.
trying to not be weird, okay? Um, and but what ends up happening is it creates this sort of like this unity across the series, right? Not just unified by the fact that we have a family, but that everyone in the family, this whole family, is like a bunch of outsiders. And so there's not just a logistical connection of the family, but there's a thematic connection. So all of these girls come from this unusual family, and so because they've grown up in an unusual family, it makes them kind of unconventional as people, right? They don't fit into the society that they are a part of. um, but what it means is that they attract unconventional husbands, right? And so they become kind of like a magnet for other outsiders who come. And so the first two husbands are Romany, which already is going to put them on this sort of like outsider status for the gentry. But what's so cool is that she doesn't do the same thing a third time where it's like another Romany husband. Instead, we get Harry Rutledge, who is American, and he's a businessman, and that's how he's made his fortune. Which in this period, right, if you worked for money, you're nouveau riche, it's gauche, right? We're like, you had to work for your money. That's You're not really rich, you're sort of like fake rich, right? This is the approach of gentry in this area, in this era. And so the fact that we get a different form of outsider who gets kind of brought into the family, or who has the family foisted upon him because he was not trying to be a
He
part of
wasn't.
the family, creates, again, it's like it creates this thematic unity across the books, which I think is so wonderful. Like it's such a great way to make the books interconnected across multiple axes of the stories, and of the like the way that you're looking at them, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and I mean, I agree. I mean, I can see that. I didn't see the interview, but I will say that you see it even more in the other books, right? You see it
Mm-hmm.
even more now here because of his independent wealth. And it's something that he states, right? Like, you need somebody that can make decisions for themselves and that can move for themselves because he's self-made. It makes a difference, and it makes a difference in this culture. It
Yeah.
also makes a difference in how in the end, like, Poppy's life will really be, and what her if you will, her guardians, because her sister is the one that was taking care of her, and her sister and her brother, but that was their guardians. That's what they wanted for her. It was like, if you can't give her that, leave her alone.
Yeah.
And we're about that 100%. So absolutely, I can see it, and you see it in the other ones, even with Maripin, and sort of even some of the pushback because of the cultural differences. And the
Yeah.
only reason why they accept Cam is because he's wealthy. But if
Yeah.
in any other circumstance, it would be they would shun the family because they have this dynamic in their family. And but they're like, we weren't a part of society anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. They're like,
So
we could take you or leave you. So,
listen, but
which
they're
again is like,
trying.
yeah, this like interesting like shift in the power dynamic as well, right? Of like, they're trying because they have to be, because like by like because of inheritance, because of the way that the system works, they're foisted in this environment, but they're like, but they've never been on the inside, so there's almost like in certain ways there's nothing for them to lose
Mhm.
when it comes to their reputation. They're like, they already think we're weird, like what's the worst that could happen otherwise, like we'll be fine. And again, it creates this really tight bond between them as well, because they
Yeah.
all share this in common, and so it makes that like that family connection even stronger.
And I think it also does something on a greater scale, which is you're aiming to make something relatable that may be a stretch for people,
Yeah.
right? For somebody to read the book in, 2026, and I think it said, and I don't know if we actually had a date, probably in the 1852,
Mm,
right? Like,
yeah.
how much relating can we do? But at the end of the day, people are people.
Yeah.
And we all want the same things, to have family, to be loved, to be protected, to be accepted for ourselves, and then ultimately for them to continue in the way that their parents raised them, being women who have opinions and love to
Yeah.
have conversation and talk about technology and politics that was unheard of. That makes them sort of like the weird girls,
Yeah.
the odd women there. And they're sort of like bagging these they're not billionaires, but we would say that, like, bagging these billionaires, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it makes for, I think it makes it relatable to people who are reading it now, because at the end of the day, that's just what people want, right? To have
Yeah.
happiness, and to have a space where they're accepted and they're sort of are welcoming people in, but it's also with a very clear thing of like, we take care of our own.
Hmm.
So if you don't know how to take care of her the way we take care of her, deuces.
Yeah.
And Harry's like, I ain't going nowhere. So
Yeah.
you say what you want to say.
Yeah, and it's great because then you have all of these stubborn people
Yeah,
who are like, oh, like, okay, fine, okay, fine. And so so that there's like, it's almost like it's like forced proximity for everybody, because
exactly.
everybody's so stubborn. Like Leo's like, oh no, I'm on deck to take her home if I need to. And Poppy's like, I'm not going anywhere. And Harry's like, well, neither am I. And like Cam is like, I'll be here to beat you up, when everything goes south. And so like, it forces them to be with one another, because they do have like, we take care of our own and we will like, right. And so, but because Harry on his own right is also stubborn, then it's like they're all just like, oh, they're all just like stuck in this like in this space together.
And you love it because at the end of the day, that's one of the reasons why it feels like real love as a
Yeah.
family, because
Yeah.
I don't want you to do this, but it's your choice. I'm riding with you either way.
Yeah.
And that's what they're saying. Even though he was like, okay, I just want her. Well, we riding with her either way, is what we
Yeah.
said. So that means, 1 for 5 and 5 for all. It's like you getting all
Yeah.
mine. And that's what it feels like to the reader too. Right.
Yeah.
When you have those moments where the sisters are giving her the sisterly advice about the wedding bid, and she's like, I think they left some stuff out.
Yeah.
Right. All of that. Then trying to have the conversation with her brother. That didn't go well.
Yep.
So it's just you just see a family trying really hard and making the best of the circumstances that they're in. And again,
Yeah.
relatable. Right.
Yeah.
And so it versus it being something that could be dividing because it's whether it's gender or ethnicity or time, it's something that you still can relate to.
Yeah, and I think this is like a great kind of springboard to talk about these very modern tropes, right?
Hmm.
That um that we find here in this historic setting and are as convincing in the historic setting as they are in a modern setting. So you want to talk a little bit about just the tropes that we're looking at and the role that they play in the story?
Well, we said you kind of already started off talking about found family, and we see that here, not just from the sense of the Hathaways to each other, but even Harry finding them,
Yeah.
because that's a big disconnect for him. And we also see like opposites attract, forced marriage or
Hmm.
unexpected marriage, forced proximity, bad boy, good girl, fish out of water, morally great protagonist or ambiguous protagonist. I put touch her and die. That's a more modern, but he doesn't say it, but he does. And that's a very popular trope right now. And many, many more. And we're seeing it still in this historical context. And it's what is molding and shaping how they are engaging with their environment, but even more
Yeah.
importantly with each other.
Yeah, well, and it's interesting too because I think we're also looking at like romance tropes that are standing the test of time, not just across our historical setting, but like this book came out, what did you say, 2009?
Hmm.
So like it's been 16 years. Do I know how to do math? 17
It's
years?
yeah.
Because it's 2026. Oof. So like, but we're looking at like almost 20 years, and this book like has all of those tropes and it works now and we love reading it now, and those tropes are still working 20 years later. Those tropes are still like doing, and the tropes do, and we'll talk about this in plot, the tropes have to do a ton of work in this particular story, and they're able to do that work, right? And it's like it drew an audience, it endeared an audience, and it still works now. And so I think it's also kind of like a testament to the timelessness of a lot of these tropes, right? And it goes back to what you talk about with universal fantasies, right? Like it's because these tropes kind of touch on like these things that are fundamental human desires and
Hmm.
experiences, and so it's cool to see that almost 20 years later, like we're looking at tropes that we see in stories coming out in 2026 now.
Yeah, and that's why whenever people start to choking on the tropes, listen, don't do it, because it's historically sound, right? Like, I mean, you can go as far. I mean, that's why we can go and say go all the way back to Pride and Prejudice, right? Like
Yeah.
that book has a trillion tropes. And what it does is show you how in this genre that those patterns are familiar across books for
Yeah.
decades,
Yeah.
hundreds of years, and how you can utilize them. And here we see that you're just being able to tell it in a way that is very unique to this environment and this family and this setting, but still do exactly what readers are looking for in those tropes. We want to see that, and we want to see that dynamic. And so, yeah, definitely great ones.
Yeah, I think, and I think that this is true of like so many things in stories, right? Because stories follow patterns. Like
Hmm.
that's we have these patterns of stories that we know and that we love, but what makes each experience individual is how you specifically apply it, right? Like how you specifically do it in this world for this character in this environment, with these other characters as a factor. Because I was having a conversation with a student about, like, she was like, oh, like, I feel like this arc is cliche. And it was like,
Mm.
and then she explained it to me and it was like, no, like you're talking about someone who had an experience in their past and that's coming to bear on their present. like, and they have
That's
to
life.
grow. Exactly. And it's like the reason that your mind is wants to like is reaching for is like passing a judgment on it that it's cliche is because it's a pattern that we've seen before, because exactly like that's how life is. That is like when we have formative events in our past, they inform the way we go forward. But and what that looks like for individuals, right? Like how someone interprets that event. Like number one, that's one of the places you're going to get variety, right? It's like if you had a massive failure, either you might try too hard to control things, or you might go callous, right, and be like, you know what, I don't care, right? Those are two different arcs. And then what it looks like for that character, like that's where your story gets to be its own unique creation. Is like, what does it look like for this specific person at this specific time in this specific like plots, right, inside of this plot with these other characters. And it's that specificity that gives it its own unique flavor. And I think the same thing is true here with tropes, right? Like we see and we'll talk more about this in plot, but it's like we see the way that like because this is Poppy with this particular like, and she is a Hathaway, the way that these tropes play out is very specific to this story, and it gives it a feeling that feels like I recognize this. It's all the comfort of things that I know and recognize, but doesn't feel like a rehash of something. It has its own fresh unique feel because it's its own unique expression of those tropes.
And the one thing I agree. The one thing that I would add with that is that's what endears the story to the reader, right? The fact that the pattern is familiar, it's sort of like a rhythm, right? It's sort of
Yeah.
like, think about whenever, I mean, listen, I remember when we first got Boogie, when we first got our puppy, it was so weird to me that they had these little dogs that you'd buy that have the heartbeat inside of them.
Yeah.
Because he was just 8 weeks and he had traveled over the road and you had him driven here. And to have this stuffed animal that you turn on the heartbeat so that he wouldn't cry at night.
Yeah.
Right. Why? Just the rhythm. And
Yeah.
we are using that same thing when it comes to story, right? That we recognize a thing and it's like, well, dang, well, I wonder what they do. Or, man, I remember when I was in that. Or, oh, wow, I've seen that before. Oh, how's that going to play out? And then we, and so what we are doing is sort of like asking the reader to come along on this journey, and the fact that they recognize it and it piques their interest, you're able to sort of borrow from that or lean into that makes it this experience. The final thing I'll say, it makes me think about I was writing an essay recently and I was thinking about how the thing that people don't always realize is as someone is sitting and sort of stewing and working hard on these words to build this story, they don't realize that something they said in that book is carried by someone 25 years later. I've read this book for 15 years plus, right? And this woman don't know me. She probably won't ever hear this. But listen, I know these people. I probably know these people better than she know these people. Maybe not. But the point is, right? And it's something about that. That's a part of that makes it just about humanity and about our shared experience and our shared stories. So I think sometimes we hear things like, oh, cliche and oh, tropes, and people are trying to run from it so much, and you don't realize that that's the heartbeat that we're looking for to lean into, that is soothing, that is familiar, and that we want to just, that we can cling to when we want to have a break for a birthday. You know what I'm saying? Have a break for a birthday, be able to sit and chill. And I would say, instead of running from it, use it and make it your own.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Ooh, that's so good. And you brought it full circle to the chit chat. Oh,
you know
man.
What I'm saying? I ain't come to play.
Are there any other just last things that you want to make sure that you mention for our overview episode? Anything you want to have the people take with them as they go into the week before we get to our plot episode?
Well, I don't know about I don't know.
Yes, Dana. What's the one thing you want to make sure that the people know?
that this is one of my favorite books.
We have got a full house, all 4 episodes. If they don't know it by the end of this 4 weeks, they're never gonna know it. They're never gonna know it. I heard that giggle and I was like, I know where this is going.
I had to. Well, I will say this. We didn't say it here, but we have said it. I mean, I am going to say that every episode. But we do point out that this book was written in 2009. And we also are going to point out that there are some things that we wouldn't necessarily recommend. However, there are so many things that we would, that this story just does really well. So I just want to say that in general as we move forward, because if you haven't made it to the other episodes and you pick it up and you start reading it and you're like, wait a minute, just know that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Perfect. Yeah. And we'll go more in depth on that, both in plot and characters, just so you can so that you know that this this book was written almost 20 years ago. And so the genre and the expectations have just changed since then. And so those are things that are so helpful to know when you're going in and looking at older books, right? When you're like, oh, okay, cool. This is not a genre norm anymore. And those are just things that you like to know if you're writing in 2026.
Exactly.
So awesome. Well, thank you everyone so much for joining us for our overview of Tempt Me at Twilight by Lisa Kleypas. Next week, we are going to dive into plot. We have a great conversation coming up for you. Until then, don't forget to visit us at storydeepdive.com. You can find out more about Dana, more about myself, and also find the complete show notes for every episode. You can follow us on your preferred podcasting platform or subscribe on YouTube. For anybody who's watching on YouTube, hello. Don't forget to leave us a thumbs up, and please do comment. We'd love to hear your thoughts on this book. Yeah, that's right. Give him the heart. Hit him with the millennial heart hands.
Come on.
You betcha. Personal favorite. Be sure to leave us a comment. Let us know what questions you have. Let us know what you thought about the book. We'd love to hear from you guys. And yes, so we will see you guys back here, same time, same place, next week. Plot, Tempt Me at Twilight. We look forward to seeing you there. But until then, as always, happy writing.